Every day, I look at cross sections of the human body that very few people can read. Hearts, coronary arteries, thousands of images per patient. And here is what 20 years of this has taught me. The finding that changes a life is almost never the obvious one. It is not the large mass. It is not the dramatic fracture. It is the faint calcium in a coronary artery that tells me this person is on a trajectory toward a heart attack 5 years from now. The thing you would miss if your eyes were not trained to look for it. Your life works the same way. The shift that changes your trajectory is almost never loud. It is small, it is quiet, and most people miss it because they are looking for something dramatic. I am Prashant Nagpal. This is the Better Daily podcast. Let us get into it. A few years ago, my life looked excellent on paper. Academic career progressing, research advancing and getting published, a section to lead, family healthy. But something was off. I was reactive. My days were happening to me rather than being designed by me. I would wake up, grab the phone, and the day would hijack me before I had any say in it. I would get home, physically present, but mentally still at the hospital. I would scroll, eat something regrettable, sleep poorly, and do it again. The irony was not lost on me. I spent my professional life detecting subtle abnormalities in other people's bodies while ignoring them in my own life. One evening, I made a small change. Not a revolution, no 21-day challenge. I set my morning alarm 15 minutes earlier and committed that time to one thing: a cup of coffee, a blank page, and a single question. What kind of person do I want to be today? Not this year, not someday, today. The first morning, I felt ridiculous. I wrote something vague, drank my coffee, 7 minutes maybe. But something happened in those 7 minutes that had not happened in months. I made a deliberate choice about my day before my day made choices for me. I decided who I wanted to be before the inbox told me who I needed to be. Within a week, that 15-minute window had restructured how I walked into the hospital, how I spoke to my residents, how I showed up at the dinner table. 15 minutes, one question, repeated. That is the 1-degree shift. And it works for a specific reason. Marcus Aurelius governed the Roman Empire and still began each day by reminding himself in writing of the kind of person he intended to be. He anticipated frustration. He anticipated difficult people. He decided in advance how he would respond. Not react, respond. That distinction, response versus reaction, is the entire point. The modern data confirms what he practiced. Angela Duckworth's research at Penn shows that sustained effort toward long-term goals predicts success more reliably than talent, intelligence, or background. But when you study how grit actually operates, it is not a single heroic act. It is a daily posture. It is the decision to show up once more, a little more deliberately than yesterday. Here is where my clinical training is useful. In radiology, the difference between a good reader and a dangerous one is not knowledge. We all learned the same anatomy. The difference is systematic search. When I read a cardiac CT, I do not just look at the image and hope something jumps out. That is how findings get missed. I follow a protocol. Coronaries in sequence, chambers, valves, pericardium, lung bases, upper abdomen, bones, same order every time. That system does not depend on whether I am sharp that morning. It depends on structure. Your personal development is identical. You do not wait for motivation to arrive like a divine visitor. You build a small, repeatable structure that runs whether you feel like it or not. Motivation is unreliable. Structure is not. And when you repeat a small behavior consistently, you are engaging neuroplasticity. Your brain physically restructures itself around repeated patterns. Every time you run that 15-minute morning or put the phone in another room after 9 p.m., you are strengthening a circuit. You are laying down myelin. The signal gets faster, stronger, more automatic. Think of it like contrast enhancement on a CT. The blood vessel was always there. You just could not see it clearly until you added the right agent. Repetition is the contrast agent for new behavior. It makes the invisible visible. Here is your application for this week. 3 moves. Move 1, the identity question. Tomorrow morning, before you touch your phone, ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to be today? And do not answer with a task. Answer with identity. Not, I want to finish the report. That is a task. Try, I want to be someone who is fully present in every conversation I have today. Identity drives behavior. Decide who you are before you decide what you do. Move to the 2-minute scan. Identify one small thing you have been avoiding. Not a big thing, small. The text to the colleague, the walk after dinner, the phone in another room after 9 p.m. Do it today, 2 minutes. It is the first deposit in a new account. Move 3, the evening calibration. Before bed tonight, 60 seconds. Write one thing that went well, one thing you would adjust tomorrow. That is it. Over 30 days, you will have a map of your own growth that no book can replicate. Only you can build that map. Here is what I see in clinical practice that makes this personal. Most chronic diseases, high blood pressure, early coronary disease, diabetes, burnout, does not start with a dramatic event. It starts with 1-degree drifts in the wrong direction. Skipping one meal, then 2. Saying yes to one more commitment when you're already running empty. Ignoring a little more fatigue, a little more irritability. By the time the scan shows something significant, you're already far from where you want it to be. Healing works the same way, and this is the part I want you to carry. 1 degree back toward yourself. 1 degree toward the person you intended to be. Small, repeated, compounded. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." The small struggle of that 15-minute morning, that is the path. That is where the change lives. So this week, pick your 1 degree. Write it down on paper, not in your head. And every day, just do it. You're not trying to become a different person overnight. You're trying to become 1 degree closer to the person you already are. If this meant something to you, share it with one person who needs to hear it. Subscribe wherever you are listening. I am Prashant Nagpal. This is the Better Daily Podcast. Small shifts, big life. I will see you in the next one.